Now we begin with a shocking apology just a short time ago from the ladies of The View to Turning Point USA. A war of words broke out after the conservative group was rallying the next generation of voters at its youth summit in Tampa, Florida this weekend. And the liberal panel just couldn't help themselves. The group sent a scathing cease and desist letter after hosts on The View suggested that Turning Point had embraced neo who showed up outside the event.
In a bombshell move that's already rocking both the media and political spheres, Turning Point USA founder Charlie Kirk has filed a staggering $100 million defamation lawsuit against The View. According to court documents, Kirk alleges that the hosts of the popular ABC talk show made what he calls malicious and knowingly false statements that have irreparably harmed his reputation and his organization. The tension exploded after several View segments referenced Kirk in connection with alleged political extremism and misinformation campaigns. Accusations his legal team is calling not only baseless, but dangerously defamatory.
Her disgusting, gross elitism and her complete out-of-touch nature with respect to the rest of the world. Sunny Hostin goes on The View and decides now would be a great time to dump all over the so-called uneducated.
What we did not have is white women who voted about 52%, right, for Donald Trump. Uneducated white women, is my understanding. You have Latino men, actually, voting more for him. And you have, and black men was not the story. We're not the story here because they voted almost 80% for the vice president.
Right. Just because you didn't go to college doesn't mean you're stupid, and it doesn't mean that you don't have wisdom. You can go to college and get a bunch of irrelevant facts about how men can allegedly give birth.
This lawsuit isn't just another political firestorm. It could set a precedent for how daytime opinion-based programming navigates public figures moving forward. Legal analysts are already weighing in, calling the scale of the claim unprecedented for a daytime panel show, especially with the mounting pressure on networks to balance commentary with responsibility. ABC has yet to release an official statement, but insiders say the network's legal team is already mobilizing for what could be a prolonged legal battle. And just as the news broke, the internet lit up. But it was Joe Rogan's raw, unfiltered reaction that quickly became the center of attention. His take on the lawsuit and the broader implications for free speech, cancel culture, and media accountability is already going viral.
Charlie Kirk's the founder and CEO of Turning Point USA and the author of the new book, The College Scam. So, Charlie, do you accept The View's apology?
I mean, regardless of whether or not I accept it, the question is, do our students accept it? That's really what's at heart here. They went after our 5,000 students at our event there of high school and college kids. And look, I get attacked all the time. People say false things. I'm a public figure. But when you go after 16 and 17-year-olds that travel from across the country that then have to live for the rest of their life with a shadow over them because someone at ABC says that they might be linked to
Throw every Republican in jail. That's the kind of line that sparked this fire. And just like that, in walks Joe Rogan, because who else? The voice of raw commentary, the man who turned podcasting into a full contact sport, has entered the chat. And his reaction, it wasn't just 2 cents, it was a full truckload of sarcasm. Watching Joe Rogan mock The View hosts felt like seeing a grizzly bear give a TED talk on how to make honey. Brutal, unexpected, and strangely satisfying. His take? Picture a guy who normally debates alien theories and MMA fighters, now casually dismantling the high-pitched drama of daytime TV with surgical precision. It's like watching a master chef critique a microwave dinner, savage, efficient, and completely unbothered. Rogan's mockery hits harder because he's not playing by their rules. While the daytime panel leans into performative outrage and dramatic shade-throwing, Rogan's just throwing verbal haymakers and laughing while the chaos unravels.
Welcome back. You know, in Monday's conversation about Turning Point USA, I put the young people at the conference in the same category as the protesters outside. And I don't like it when people make assumptions about me, and it's not any better when I make assumptions about other people, which I did. So, my bad. I'm sorry.
Okay.
So,
The View hosts may act untouchable, playing the roles of daytime icons, but Kirk's $100 million lawsuit is more than legal paperwork. It's a mic drop. Loud, calculated, and backed by serious money. This entire clash has turned into a strange mix of media chaos, financial power plays, and a battle for public narrative control. On one side, there's a talk show panel that's thrived off controversy, operating like legal backlash is just background noise. On the other, a political figure with serious resources, stepping up and saying, "Not this time." And he's got 100 million reasons to prove it. Joe Rogan's commentary only turns up the heat. His mockery works like a spotlight, showing how bizarre the situation really looks when viewed from a distance. While the hosts project confidence and moral superiority, things quickly change once legal pressure hits. Their tone softens, and suddenly, that so-called moral high ground starts to shake. Rogan's blunt humor slices through the drama, revealing something deeper. Maybe the high ground isn't so high when it's stacked with defamation claims and legal risks. This entire situation has become more than a personality clash. It's a reflection of today's media world, where lawsuits are ammunition, outrage is currency, and viewers are locked in, waiting to see who folds first.
We had to threaten a lawsuit, Jesse. And by the way, we're still entertaining it. We're talking to some of the best lawyers out there that are experts in this. And as you know, these things can be very complicated. There's a lot of facts and circumstances around it. But we're not going to let this go, because you should not be able to smear 5,000 high school and college kids and then just be able to walk.
This isn't just another midday headline to skim over. This situation is a magnifying glass held over the modern media jungle, where outrage is ammunition, lawsuits are missiles, and every misstep plays out on a global stage. The battle between Charlie Kirk and The View isn't unfolding in isolation. It's happening right in the middle of a culture war so split, it might as well be a primetime reality show titled America Feud Edition. In today's media landscape, lawsuits have evolved into sharper tools than any Twitter argument, now used as political weapons in full view of the public. Forget old-school neighborhood disputes or simple media apologies. Now, when someone feels slighted on daytime TV, they don't just clap back. They drop a $100 million lawsuit. It's not just retaliation. It's a flex. It's a power move that screams, "When the cameras stop, the courtrooms start." This lawsuit is a clear example of how the legal system has transformed into a stage for modern media warfare. Public feuds are no longer just heated debates. They're multi-million-dollar legal matches, with the courtroom acting as the new battlefield and only the wealthiest warriors left standing. What's fueling the fire? Media polarization. On one end, there are mainstream platforms like The View, which have mastered the craft of outrage performance. It's become a form of political theater, with the narrative always pointing fingers outward and rarely inward. The script? Always highlight how wrong the other side is, over and over. On the other end, figures like Charlie Kirk have flipped that script into a rallying cry. Turning every accusation into ammunition, he's turned viral moments into movement fuel, and now into legal action. What started as sharp commentary has escalated into a legal war front, where narrative control is just as important as any verdict. This clash isn't just a disagreement between two public figures. It's a full-blown systemic war over who controls public opinion. And it's coming in with the subtlety of a wrecking ball inside a glass factory. What we're seeing unfold is equal parts legal thriller, reality TV saga, and circus spectacle. It's that bizarre zone where news starts acting like theater, and theater tries to pass for news. One minute it's political commentary, the next it's a lawsuit that reads like the plot of a Hollywood blockbuster. The lines blur so much, it's hard to tell whether viewers should feel outraged, informed, or just grab some popcorn and enjoy the madness. And here's where it gets twisted. The average viewer is left staring at the screen, trying to figure out what's real and what's just a high-stakes performance. The lawsuit, the viral mockery, the legal press tours, It's all part of one carefully constructed media spectacle.
Culture shift between right and left authoritarianism, and now people don't recognize that if you just stopped looking at it in terms of red and blue, look at the actions, whether it's war, suppression of free speech, pharmacological interventions that are mandatory, right. whatever it is, that used to all be associated with the authoritative right, the authoritarian right, and now those things are being embraced by the left. And I just think it's just an ideology thing, and I think we get confused and we think we're on the right side, and if it's our side that's saying this, for sure that's the right thing to do, and no one's critically thinking about this.
From the courtroom drama surrounding The View to Joe Rogan's ruthless takedown, these aren't isolated incidents. They're scenes in a never-ending media soap opera where the lead roles are played by politics, television, and multi-million-dollar influence. And so, what happens next in this saga? Anything's possible, and probably inevitable. Maybe The View hosts decide to settle quietly, with a discreet payout and no further comment, because nothing says damage control like cutting a check and moving on. Or maybe this explodes into a drawn-out legal war, where every private message, tweet, and backstage rant gets dragged under the public spotlight. And in today's media jungle, the truth doesn't just come out, it gets amplified, monetized, and turned into a headline. Now picture the discovery phase, a legal deep dive that could unleash a flood of private emails, backstage recordings, and text chains faster than you can say, ratings boost. If this case makes it to court, don't expect dry legal arguments. Expect a media circus where every word is designed for headlines. Forget subtlety. This will be performance. Both sides are likely to treat the courtroom like a stage, armed with sound bites, carefully rehearsed statements, and leaks engineered for maximum public reaction. The courtroom won't just be a legal venue. It'll be a broadcast zone where every eye is tuned in. The View might attempt to polish their image, tightening their messaging, and maybe even dialing down the theatrics. But let's be real, drama has always been their foundation. This lawsuit isn't a departure, it's just the next storyline in a long-running show. And social media, it'll pour gas on the fire. Every meme, clip, sarcastic tweet, and out-of-context soundbite will be recycled, remixed, and reposted.
Do you see what Whoopi Goldberg said?
What'd she say?
Whoopi Goldberg said that Biden could arrest all the Republicans and put them in jail. You just need to see how unhinged this kind of thinking is. Well, you know what Joe Biden could do? Joe Biden, you have to see it, because it's so
on TV,
crazy.
she said
on television.
You know, just let's look at a scenario where the Supreme Court says, yes, he has all those rights. He is immune from everything. Yeah. You know what Joe Biden could do since he is presently president?
What?
Whoa. He could throw every Republican in jail.
Daytime TV just went nuclear, and there's no walking it back. Then there's Joe Rogan, the podcast heavyweight who doesn't just react, he ignites. His commentary is more than mockery. It's a warning shot. It tells everyone this isn't just a dust-up on daytime television. It's a real cultural battleground where reputations, influence, and dollars are all on the line. This lawsuit is a perfect storm, a mix of unpredictable media personalities, legal risks, and public spectacle. And in a world where influencer power and outrage run the show, the rules aren't written in legal codes anymore. One tweet can spark a war. One clip can shift public opinion, and one trial could change how media battles are fought going forward. One viral video can change everything. A podcast clip can instantly turn a serious lawsuit into a running national punchline. Nobody knows exactly where this will all end up, but one thing's guaranteed: it won't be dull. This real-life soap opera has all the right ingredients for a long, unpredictable, and wildly captivating showdown. Millions are tuned in, and every update is being picked apart, clipped, memed, and debated across every major platform. The View's lawsuit saga isn't just about media dollars or defamation. It's become a window into how public clashes are now weaponized entertainment.
But Whoopi is certainly not the brightest person, and what she just said just doesn't make any sense. It's just like so silly to say. It's not a You watched the episode when Tulsi Gabbard got on to defend herself, and Joy Behar starts panicking and going over her notes while Tulsi is refuting everything that she said.
Yeah, I mean, Joy Behar, like, again, these people have dementia. These are people who, like, should not be allowed out of the house. They have a national platform. I mean, it is crazy. They have no idea. These people have never read, like, a book.
And there's versions of it.
This story is a perfect blend of legal warfare, media theatrics, and cultural commentary. On one side, a conservative activist with pockets deep enough to shake up the daytime TV industry. On the other, a panel of hosts who built a brand on outrage and hot takes. Add in a podcast titan like Rogan, who's never been shy with his roast sessions, and it becomes a pop culture collision with national attention. And the audience, glued to the screens, popcorn in hand, watching every twist unfold in real time. So the next time The View decides to toss allegations around like confetti, they might want to think twice. Because this time, someone threw back, legally and publicly. The message is clear. On today's media battlefield, the loudest voice isn't always the one that wins. Sometimes it's the voice with the sharpest wit and the deepest legal resources. And The View? They may want to rethink their playbook before the next courtroom headline breaks. Because Joe Rogan and Charlie Kirk just proved that daytime drama isn't just about ratings anymore. It's about real consequences. If you want to stay locked into stories like this, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell, because the next bombshell could drop any moment.